We're going to do a little bit of everything today. Balancing is always good to start with. Always mind our posture, strong through the core. Use your chair if you need to. I'm going to start balancing on my right leg, a little bend in the knee, posture is tall, right? And whatever you want to do with the leg that's up in the air is fine. You know, bent, maybe the foot is a little bit behind you, or you can have your knee up a little bit to the front, and the foot is a little bit underneath the leg. However you want to set up your leg is totally fine. But the standing leg, a little bend in the knee, right? Feel the weight on the heel, a little bit of the side of the foot, a little bit of the ball of the foot, and you should feel those toes really wiggling around to try to keep you balanced. Use your chair or wall as needed. Think about your core. Have something to stare at that really does help out with balance, a little focal point to look at. And you should start to feel your glute, your hip starting to work and activate. It's a good thing. We're working on hip stability, lower body stability, balance, your posture, your core. So there's a lot going on just from standing here. We're really not doing much with our arms or our legs. We're just holding. But we're working everything. Other side. Same thing. Little bend on the standing leg. Feel the weight on the heel of your foot. A little bit on the outside of the foot. And then kind of coming around towards the big toe, the ball of the foot. And again, trying to stay grounded through that foot. A little bend in the knee. Strong core, good posture, something to stare at to help you focus, and just hold. Right? If you need to use your chair, use your chair. Get comfortable with that leg that's up in the air. Whatever you need to do with that leg is fine. Tighten up the stomach. Just stay focused on your balance. Take your time. Keep the weight on the heel. A little bend in the knee on that standing leg. Shoulders back. Tight stomach. Whatever you want to do with your arms is fine. Okay, so we're going to go to the other side again. We're going to create movement now. We're going to start moving. So you have your basic setup, right? If whatever we do coming on to these next sets, if they're too challenging or too difficult for you, you go back to the basics and you just do what we've been doing the last set. So when all else fails, you just come back to basic balance, right? But now, we're going to try to bring this leg up to hip or waist height. And now you're going to try to bring your arms up. And hold. Now, if you can't do it with both arms and you need to hold on with one hand, totally fine. Do what works for you. So if you need to have your hand on the chair or maybe on the wall somewhere, totally fine. But the goal is to keep the leg up and forward at a 90-degree angle or, around your hip, waist height. And then you're trying to keep your arms above your head. Or at least above your shoulders. Maybe you have to angle forward a little bit because you don't have that shoulder mobility to go straight up. But you can have your arms a little forward and above your shoulders. Totally fine. If you need to go out to the side, that's totally fine. Maybe you need to bend your elbows. Again, totally fine. The goal is to just try to get those arms above and away from the center of gravity. Right? So your body's center of gravity. So challenge yourself. See where you're at. See if you can maintain. Again, we're starting to work that hip, that standing leg. And now we're making it really challenging by bringing the arms up and one leg up and forward. Other side. Same thing. Working on the balance. Think about your core. Tighten up the stomach. Have a focal point to stare at. Bring your leg up and forward to about waist height. And hold. Hold, hold, hold. Still trying to keep the weight on the heel of that down foot. A little bit on the outside of the foot, around the ball of the foot. Those toes are digging in. Trying to keep you stable and balanced. Should feel that ankle kind of moving around quite a bit. Totally fine. Remember, a little bend in that standing leg. You should start to feel your shoulders working a little bit now. Being up above your shoulder height. Those hands, arms being above the shoulder height. You should really start to feel your deltoids starting to work. And it's a good thing. Working on the balance. A lot of core. Balance is everything. Right? If we didn't have good balance, it would be difficult to walk. Stand. Other side. Okay. This is going to be probably the most challenging one. We're going to add movement. So, the setup is the same, right? The basic foundation, right? If these are tough, you always come back to basics. From here, if you're ready for the challenge, balance on one leg, little bend in the knee on that standing leg, get grounded through the heel, side of the foot, ball of the foot. From here, we're going to start low, move up, come all the way down. But you're not coming all the way down with the foot. You're just bringing the knee, the thigh, that's going to point down to the ground. But the foot is still up in the air. Then we raise, up and down with the arms, knees pointing to the floor, raise. And so now it's like a shoulder press and a leg raise to the front. Now this is creating a lot of instability, a lot of challenge to your balance. Because now you're moving, which is going to make it tough to hold and maintain that balance. So that's the challenge there. Working on your balance as you move the arms and the leg up. And you just keep working on it. Do what you can. Stay focused. Keep that core nice and tight. Couple more. Let's do one more. Last one. Tight stomach. Raise and come down. We gotta even out. Other side. This last one's gonna be tough. Right? You should have really felt that hip and leg working on the last set. Moving along. Get your body set up. Little bend in the knee. Feel the weight on the heel of that foot. A little bit on the outside. A little bit on the ball of the foot. Toes are working. And from here we raise. And bring the leg up and forward. And come down. Try to keep that foot off the floor. Just going up and down with the arms and leg. Now, it doesn't matter how fast you go, right? Do what you can. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you. And don't rush. Right? If you're rushing, it'll throw off your balance quite a bit. So try not to rush. Just a couple more. We're going to focus on the core, have a focal point to stare at. Let's do one more after this one. Last one. And stop. All right. Should have really felt those hips, side of the legs, the bum, which is what we were trying to focus on, so it's good. Okay, so, kind of similar but different. We're going to move laterally, but then come back to our balance. I'll break it down into parts. We'll go with different kind of fitness levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So, using your chair, I'll give you a little side view. You can have the chair right in front of you. Now, when you set up your chair, you want to be a little bit to the left side of your chair because we're going to move the right leg and step out laterally. So stand up a little bit to the left or on the left side of your chair. Take a big step to your right. Now from here, when you land, after taking that big step to the right, bend the leg a little bit, almost like a squat, right? You're absorbing the landing. You're going to push off and come back, then reach up. That's the challenge. So to give you a front view, without the chair, side step, bend the leg, come in, reach, come all the way down. Side step, bend that leg, push in, come together with the feet, then raise the arms up, raise the knee up. And we're just going back and forth. So here's how you can break it down into different levels. Okay, so if the arms up and the knee up is too much, just step, come in, and maybe just bring one leg up or one arm up. Okay, you have options. Step out, I'm moving my right leg. If you need the chair, move just your right side. Right knee, right arm up, and come back. That's one level there for you. The next level up is coming in, feet together, both arms, legs come up. This is intermediate. Out to the side, a little bend in the knee. This leg is kind of straight, it's a little bent, but you have a lot more flexion on that landing leg. Coming in, reaching. So that's intermediate. Advanced. Step from right here. We're not even bringing the foot to the middle. We are immediately coming up. And this is tough, right? So that is the challenge. This is the most challenging move here. From right here, we don't even get that foot to come down and meet with the other foot. We immediately bring it up to into the air. And as we bring the knee up into the air, we bring the arms up to the sky. And then we land wide and bend the leg when you land. This is important to protect your knee joints. All right, so that's the challenge. You have different levels of ability. Pick which one works for you, right? And make modifications as needed. You can kind of mix and match what works, what doesn't work. Play with it. Let's do one more. And reach. Okay, other side. Now, obviously, I was demonstrating and I wasn't using the chair that much. I also didn't want to obstruct your view. So if you want to really use your chair, you're going to have that chair in front of you the whole time. But now that we're moving to the left, make sure you're on the right side of your chair now. Okay, I'm behind the right leg, the back right leg of the chair. Step to the left, right? Come in, reach, and bring the knee up. Now, if you need the chair, you can hold on to it and bring the left arm and left knee up. Right? So you'll step out, in, use the chair, left arm, left leg. Again, this is how you're modifying. Make sure you're bending that knee when you land. Feet together, reach up. And that's the second level, right? You're not using the chair at all. Or maybe you're just using it on occasion, right? And you're adding that little foot movement. Feet together, regain your balance. Reach up together, regain your balance. Step out, bend that leg when you land. That's key. Good soft landing. And then the most challenging, land, immediately come up, reach up. Very, very tough, right? And you can still do this one with the chair, right? If you want to really work on your balance but still kind of move safely, you can absolutely do this with the chair. Coming in, if you need it, you can hold on to it real quick as the knee is up, then bring the arms up. So that's kind of how you can play with it, right? You can kind of make it work for you based on your fitness level or based on your ability. And just do what works for you. I'm going to keep moving this out of the way because I don't want to obstruct the view. And you just keep working. You keep challenging your core, your balance. When you land, it's a big step, it's a big landing. Bend that leg, reach up. And it's okay to break it down into parts. If you're going from one side and immediately coming up to the front, it's okay to work the balance here, then bring the arms up. Go with what works. And if you're really able to coordinate the upper and lower body, this is what a fast-paced kind of movement would look like. But again, you do what you can. I'm trying to give you different options. There's always something to do. There's always a modification. You can always make it work for your body. Let's do one more. Okay. Now that we know what we're doing, let's go to the other side. Gotta do it again. Last one for this whole balancing kind of stuff. So just duplicate what you did last time, right? We're going to the other side. Right leg bending when you land. Get right into the balancing and reaching. Doing what's good for your body. You figured it out last time, so you know what you can and cannot do. And so just get right into it. All right, work on the balance. Focus on your core. Soft landing in the leg. Bring it in. Reach, come down, land. Make sure you land kind of wide and bend the leg as you land. That's important. Right, trying to bend that knee as you land and push the hips back. It's almost like a squat. It's not a very big squat, we're not getting real low, but just enough to bend those legs and bring those legs up. Excuse me, sir, you can't be in here. Sorry, I know, but I'm in the middle of a class and you're ruining my recording. I knew I should have locked that door. I knew it. I had a feeling. I gotta put a sign out there is what I gotta do. Last one. And other side. Side step to the left. Bend that leg. Absorb the landing. Push off. Come up. Side step. Come in. Raise. Land wide, bend that knee, squat, come in, raise. Take your time, focus on your core. It does help to have a focal point to stare at. And you can see I almost lost my balance. You can overpower your body as you try to go back to the balancing. You can overdo it with strength. And sometimes it'll carry you over and lose your balance. That's okay. You kind of have to take a little power and strength off so that you can come right into this tall, balanced position and then raise up. So it's almost as if you have to gauge your strength and how much you can actually put into the exercise, because I can just as easily overdo it and lose my balance to the right. So we don't want to do that. We want to give it just enough to come up to balance, stick the balance, reach. Push out those hips. Come in, reach. Let's do 3 more. Come in. There's 1. land wide, come in. There's 2. Last one, come in, wide, reach, strong core, and we're done. We're done with that. We're not done with the workout. Don't get too excited. Have a seat in your chair, but before you do that, grab a dumbbell. 1 dumbbell, nice and easy. Okay. Give you a little bit of an angled view so you can see what's going on. I'm going to hold on to my 1 dumbbell. Starting kind of light. I didn't say that. Light dumbbell. We don't want to go too heavy in the beginning. We're going to work on our upper body as well as our core. So, from right here, sit as tall as you can. Extend out your legs. Knees are a little bent. Whatever's comfortable on the legs. You can be flat-footed if you'd like and have a little bit more flexion in your knees if you'd like. This is a little easier, legs out, a little bit more challenging. But no matter what, posture's tall, weights in front of the chest. You're going to lean back as far as you can go. Let your back touch the chair, then sit nice and tall. Now when you're sitting back up into that upright position, press, come down, lean back. So every time you come up and forward and you're sitting tall, raise the weight up and then come down. Once you bring the weight down, start to lean back. Lightly touch the chair with your back. Sit tall. Reach. Down. So it's a very, very gentle, very, very light touch with your back on the chair. Take your time, flex that core as you come back, tighten up that core even more as you try to sit up and then reach up. Now, if you have difficulty pressing overhead, then get rid of the pressing. Okay, maybe you press just a little bit. Maybe you can't quite go overhead. So instead, what you'll do is just maybe a little lift, come down, and then right back to the core. Right? So you just lift a little bit. Maybe you come up about halfway, and then you come back down. That's totally fine. Right? Maybe you're not even going up halfway, and you're just coming up a quarter of the way. It's called a partial rep. Right? So it's still going through some range of motion. You're still working your shoulder. Right? So figure it out, see where you're at. If it's just too tough to move that weight at all, then don't do it. Just focus on your core and keeping the weight close to your chest. Now that is a challenge, especially when you try to sit up. Don't let the weight move away from your body as you try to sit up. A lot of the times you will see people try to move the weight away, then get up. Don't do that. Don't cheat yourself. Right? What we're trying to do is work through body mechanics with resistance. Right? So this is pretty much a core exercise where you're leaning back and you're doing an actual sit-up. And sometimes you're in bed, reading, but you're propped up. Right? Maybe you have like 3 or 4 pillows underneath you and you have a nice little angle. Right? And maybe the angle is right about here. At some point you need to put the bed or the book down and get out of bed maybe, go to the bathroom or something, and then you got to come back to bed. But at some point you do have to do a little bit of a sit-up from that reclined position. Right? So think about your core. Let's do one more. Last one. And stop. Sometimes if you're in a couch or like a lazy boy chair, there is that moment where you have to kind of use your torso and your core to get up and move forward. So it's very functional. If you have a very comfortable couch where you can really just slouch and watch TV, at some point you do have to do that getting up and forward bend position or movement. So it's very applicable to a couple of different scenarios. Moving along. So, elbows are out. We're holding the weight right at our chest like we did before. Lean back, but don't lean back too far. Right? But lean back just enough to feel some core engagement. You feel your abs working. You feel that they're contracted and tight. Right? And you're leaning back just enough without acting. Elbows are wide. From right here, continue to lean back and stay in your reclined position. Some of you know what's coming next. We're rotating, twisting. Think of the movement of a washer, moving side to side. You know, when it gets into that washing mode of your dirty clothes, and in the beginning it's just shifting left and right really quickly to loosen up whatever dirt or fluids may be in your clothes from sweat maybe, playing pickleball, getting all sweaty, or hiking, going on a 5-mile hike or walk. Maybe you do a beach day and you're all sandy. Whatever it is, it's rotating. And it's moving fairly quickly, but I don't want you to move quick. I just want you to lean back. And I just want you to rotate from the waist. Now the challenge is do not lean. Do not lean to the side as you twist to the side. You're leaning backwards, then you're rotating. Right? So continue to lean backwards and rotate between the left and right side. So we're working on rotational movement, right? Our body rotates daily. Our upper body rotates so much, and you may not notice it in your daily activity, but maybe you will after doing this exercise. And it's good to have that mobility, right? Because as you twist and turn, you get a little stretch in your lower back, which is a good thing, right? We want that. We want that mobility in our lower back. We want to be able to turn freely with strength and without pain. So continue to suck in that belly button. We're going to do 500 more. Just kidding. Let's do 5 more on each side. Here we go. 5 and 5. 4 and 4. 3 and 3. 2 and 2. Last one. On the other side, one more. And stop. Good job. Take a break. One more core move. It is one more core move, but with a lot of options. Okay, so you're going to have quite a bit of options to choose from based on your core strength and stability. So, one of my favorite moves. Hollow body hold. Very tough. Lean back. Arms are up. So I'm going to get into the most advanced version, and from there I will digress and show you the levels that you can go to. So from here, this is the most challenging. If this is too much, bring the arms in. Right? Or the alternative is keep the arms up, bring the feet in a little. Right? So you have options with both. If you have difficulty with the arms coming up, you bring the arms down and you kick out the legs. Right? If you feel like you can handle the legs being out and the arms up, then this is where you are. And you're leaning back the whole time, holding, but don't let your back touch the chair, right? So you're leaning back with enough comfort and enough strength to work your core. No discomfort in our back. If you're feeling that, sit a little taller. Right? So now from here, options. Options, options, options. One leg coming up at a time. Going back and forth. So depending on your movement, or I should say depending on what you decided to hold on to, whether your arms are down or your legs are bent and your arms are up, you're still trying to move one leg up at a time. Whether it's bent leg, straight leg, arms up, or arms down. Again, so many options. If you can't move the legs, but you want that core work, and you can keep your arms up, then just hold. If you can't keep your arms up but the legs are good, then you just hold here. So many options. There's no excuse. Right? If your back hurts, sit a little taller, tighten up the stomach a little more, and hold. So play with it. What can your body handle? What can you do? You have to challenge your body and figure it out. It's the only way we're going to ever know. Right? And sometimes you'll be surprised on what you can do. So you never know until you try. Just like anything else in life. Of course, we're going to have some failed attempts at what we're doing, but then we learn. We learn what our body can and cannot do. So it's not so much failure. Such a bad word to use. It's not a fail. If you're trying, you're not failing. Perhaps you're not as successful at attempting the exercise. That's a better word. You're not as successful, right? Because you're still experiencing the success of movement and creating or developing strength through the core, right? Unsuccessful or failed attempt would just be not trying at all. Not even trying it once. That's failing. You are failing to even try. But that's not you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are rock stars. I always tell you, you're athletes. You don't need to be in a sport to be an athlete, and I train you just like athletes. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, and 4. 3, tight tummy, 3, 2, and 2, 1, and 1. All right. Good job. Bravo. A lot of core, a lot of balance. We need it. Balance is everything. Core is everything, and it always starts there. Bravo. Good job. All done. Great job, everyone.